Buckeye Talk grading Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud following the Buckeyes' 33-24 home victory over Penn State. For the day, Stroud 22 of 34 for 305 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, no rushing to speak of. Doug, why don't you start us off? What grade for C.J. Stroud?
So the receivers were not open by 5 yards every play, like they have been most of the year. So that was tough. I thought that was a grind. He worked it out. Like a B+, I would say, but like that was a hard test. That was significantly harder, and I don't want anyone to underestimate Penn State, and I don't want anyone to like give up on the Ohio State offense because they weren't swinging from trapezes and, you know, running for 100-yard touchdowns every time they touch the ball. That's a good defense. If he doesn't make a few plays himself, moving in the pocket, creating some throwing lanes, hitting the Chris Olave touchdown, this could have gone the other way. Like if he had played average, I think they might have lost. And so he definitely played above average, and I think he probably played like pretty darn good. He wasn't spectacular, but he was a winning quarterback against a good team. I might even maybe go A-, but like I'll say B+. Very good though.
I mean, I was right on that same borderline. I think I am going to just end up with a B+ because I like to save the special stuff for A's, but there were some things that happened tonight that I thought were kind of borderline special considering the circumstances. We talked all week about how good Penn State's defense was. We talked specifically about how the fact that the last 2 weeks, both of the teams they played, Maryland and Indiana, were missing their starting cornerbacks, and Penn State was going to be putting out a full secondary that is, I mean, it's either them or Iowa probably is the best secondary in the Big Ten, you could argue. So I thought that alone was going to be enough of a test. Penn State came after Ohio State tonight. I thought Penn State's defensive line played as well as any unit in this game for most of the game. I mean, certainly in the first half, they set the tone. They controlled this game early. They were the reason why Penn State was up 7-3 in this game, and it's 17-7 early in the third quarter, and a lot of it was what those guys were doing up front. And C.J. Stroud, I thought, responded pretty well to it. He responded better than I thought the offensive line did at times. So that was something else he kind of had to overcome tonight, was the first night where his offensive line looked a little bit fragile, whether that was physical mistakes, whether that was mental mistakes, and C.J. Stroud didn't make any big gaffes. You know, unlike Sean Clifford, for example, didn't get hurried into throwing an interception, didn't fumble away a ball, like, you know, so I'm starting to talk myself into an A-.
Yeah.
It's let's see what Stephen Means has to say.
Gonna give him an A-. I thought he wasn't perfect, but because he played a better team, he had some misses. I actually asked him about the miss to Chris Olave, and he gave a very good explanation on why he threw the ball they threw. He said it was a cover 2 look. He wasn't expecting that look, and so he basically had to fit it, and it had to be perfect. And obviously, it wasn't perfect. So the best case scenario just ends up being an incompletion, and you try again, and you live with that. From a press conference standpoint, this was his most impressive press conference. He gave really insightful answers. He was honest. He let us into his personality, and he had good answers for every question that was asked. On the field, yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. He made plays I saw growth today. I saw that quarterback didn't show up against Oregon, and it's part of why they lost. He did show up today, and it's part of why they won in a day where the run game took forever to get going, and the offensive line was getting penalty after penalty, and then the wide receivers are getting ball starts. He was the only guy who was consistent, and so that's what matters to me is he was better in this game than he was in the Oregon game. Now what's up next is Michigan State and Michigan down the road. Is he going to continue to go up on this trajectory that he's on? So this is an A- game for him.
Here's why I think B+ is still a fair grade. We, pretty late in this game, looked at each other and said, is this going to be like Oregon, where it's not like he's the reason they lost, but we can also maybe say he's the reason they didn't win? And if Penn State drives and scores late and wins this game 31-30 or whatever, then we're talking about that missed throw to Chris Olave in a very different way. So I think B+ is a fair grade. We'll see how he grows from this. We'll see how Ohio State grows from this. Get the text, 614-350-3315. We'll be bringing you intel and analysis every day as Ohio State gets ready to go to Nebraska.